What's up everybody, Dazed here, back with another Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3 video, and today we are going to be talking about more character creation changes they need to make when they give us a new game finally. Now, some people do think that I'm asking for way too much in these videos. If you haven't already, I will leave a link down in the description for the playlist for the first two videos I've made covering all the basics of the character creation. Go check those out before you watch this video. And yeah, I really don't think I'm asking for too much. This isn't even my wish list. This is just basic changes that they need to make for the game. Things they've done in other games already. Things other games have been doing for like 20 years. Like, check out the WWE games. The customization in them has been amazing for a long time. And it's time for Bandai, Dimps, whoever, to start making these changes in the game, because at this point it's a little ridiculous how bad the character customization actually is in this game. I'm going to be covering three topics in this video. The first is going to be our stats. You know, we need some changes to the stats. We're going to go over that first. Next is going to be our skills. You know, we need some changes with our skills, so we're going to discuss that. And last is going to be our combo strings, or fighting style as I'm going to call it. We definitely need an upgrade to that. So let me know what you guys think down below. Put your ideas down there. I'm always wanting to hear what you guys have to say about it, and let me know what you think of my ideas. So like I said, the first thing that we are going to talk about is our character stats, our attributes. While what we have here is pretty good, I'm not really complaining about what we have. I think we could just make it a little bit better. Like I said, when you look at like WWE games and some other games as far as their character customization, when it comes to stats, you know, UFC games and all, there are a ton of categories. Now, will we have as many as them? Absolutely not, but I think we could add a few. The first one that I think we really need is a speed category. I understand that our speed is affected by our height, but that really shouldn't be the case, because in Dragon Ball, in the series, your height doesn't affect how fast you are. You know, look at Berta. He was like the fastest in the universe. He was a big guy. So we need a stat just for our speed. That is absolutely essential in my opinion. Next up, what I would like to see is something done with the stamina. Now, what we have is pretty decent, but I think it could be a lot better, and it needs to be something like where we have like an offensive and defensive stamina stat. That way, like, if we want to increase it and take less damage or less chip damage when we're blocking, you know, that's where we would increase our defensive stamina. That would also have to do with like evasives and stuff like that. Now, for our offensive stamina, I think that does need a little bit of rehaul. Obviously, we don't gain our stamina back, and I honestly don't remember if we slightly lose it as we're attacking. But that should be something that's in the game, that we slowly lose our stamina as we are attacking. Now, I know some people will probably argue with that and say that's not going to be good for the players and stuff. But to just be able to sit there and attack and attack and attack with no consequences, I think that's a little stupid. Now, as far as like having our bars of stamina, I think we should still have our regular stamina stat. So that will affect how we vanish and stuff like that. But like I said, the offensive and defensive stamina will just affect how we use that stamina up when we're attacking, when we're blocking, things like that. So we're not getting rid of the way it looks. We're not going to add more bars to the screen when we're fighting or anything like that. It's just those things will affect how our stamina is used. I think that's absolutely essential. Now, the last thing I would like to see, and this pertains mostly because of the strike ultimates that are out there, I would like to see a hybrid attack stat. So, you know, we have stuff like Godly Display, Impulse Slash. There's a few things that we have that use a bunch of basic attack, and then they fire off a bunch of Ki Blasts. I think we should have a hybrid attack stat. That way, when we use these moves, we can maximize the power on it effectively. You know, it doesn't seem that, like, the Ki Blasts are affected by what is in our Ki Blast stats when we use those strike ultimates. So I would personally like to see something for, like, a hybrid attack. Now, one final thing I would really like to see implemented would be some kind of stat caps. Like I said, when you go back to the WWE games, depending on like what weight class and certain things, you will have stat caps that you can't go over no matter what. and that will stop these overpowered builds from being made. You know, and it may have to do with race, the height, the thickness of your character, but these things should somehow affect how our stats are going to work and what we can put our stats up to. Let me know what you guys think down below on this. Throw out your ideas for what we could do with our stats to really make this game a lot better. I really want to know what you guys think about it. So now we're going to move on to our skills, because while they are good and while there are a bunch of them, there are some changes that could be made. The first major one I want to say is, first of all, we have plenty of skills to use on our character. We have 4 slots for super attacks, 2 for ultimates, and then we've got our awoken and evasive skills. I think this setup is perfectly fine. I don't think we need like 3 or 4 ultimate attacks. I think there's plenty of super attacks for our characters. You know, it gives us a lot of variety in our builds. But one thing that really needs to change is this right here. It's going to be our energy charge moves. Now, while I do use them, and I know a lot of people maybe in PvP don't use them, with the addition of burst charge that actually makes a useful one for PvP, I think this needs to be relegated to something on the D-pad. And I know those things are already doing stuff, like you've got the little chat boxes, you've got the scouter, and the thing that tells you, you know, your mission, all the objectives and stuff like that. I think those are pretty pointless, and I'll say especially the scouter. How many people are actually using their scouter on a regular basis? The only time I've ever used it is on that first tutorial mission, the parallel quest number 1 with Elder Kai. That is the only time I've ever used it, because I don't go around picking up the items in the little stages in all them parallel quests, because they don't really do much for you. Now, if I remember right, I think it was in the Raging Blast series, the charge move actually was down on the D-pad. So I don't think that'd be too hard to implement, and this is not something we should have to use up our super attacks for. You know, we should still be able to choose what we want to use, but it should be on like the D-pad, like down or up, whatever. I don't really care. But it definitely should be something we should use. Now, another thing is these free moves. I don't like the fact that there are free moves. You know, we've got instant transmission right here, costs 0 key. There's a bunch of other moves that cost nothing. Backflip, which is very highly abused, or at least used to be as far as when it came to PvP. These things should all cost key. Now, some people may argue with that. If you remember back in Xenoverse 1, Phantom Fist used to never take key, and it was a real problem because people would just sit there and spam it and spam it and spam it. It does take key in this one, thankfully, but everything, every skill in this game should cost you something, at least 1 bar of key. Nothing in this game should be free. And that really affects PvP more than anything. I'm sure people that just do the quests and the story and stuff like that, raids, they all want it to remain free. Personally, I do not, even in those aspects. Now, the last thing I want to talk about when it comes to our skills, like I said, I think we have a bunch of good skills. I think there's a lot of useless skills too. But when it comes to character customization, I want my skills to all match up. And what I mean is color-wise. Like, I want to color coordinate my skills. Just like if you get Broly, they're all green skills. You know, I want to be able to do that with my character. Now, I don't think they'll be able to do it with like every color in the game, but they should give us a basic set of colors, you know, red, yellow, blue, green, orange, purple, maybe even throw pink in there. Just so we can customize our characters, we can make it look good with what we're doing. You know, with the moves I have selected here, maybe not all, they're all actually pretty similar in color, what I have here. But if I had like Kamehameha, Super Dragon Fist, whatever, you know, Death Beam, I want to be able to have those be all the same color, and they should have a generic color scheme that you should choose from, and make your characters look the way you want them. You know, and that goes back to the aura thing too. Like, I want my character to have the aura color I want it to have. So that's pretty much it as far as it comes to the skills in this game. I like the way evasives work, and I like the awoken skills in this game, but one thing needs to change is the amount of awoken skills, and I will cover transformations in its own video. It won't be anywhere near as long as this, but I think transformations does deserve its own video, so we will discuss that in another video coming up, probably the next one I do in this series, because this is pretty much going to close out all of the character creation stuff that we have to cover. And the last thing I wanted to talk about, and you saw it in the thumbnail, and I said it in the beginning of the video, and that is going to be our fighting style. Personally, I think what we have is pretty bland. I do not like the Saiyan fighting style. I do like the male Earthling fighting style, but I think we need a way to change them, and a couple of things could be we have a couple of options for different fighting styles for our created characters. Now, this could be anything like the male Earthling and the male Saiyan being able to switch back and forth, like either can do either fighting style, and that gives a couple of options for that. Same thing with like females and stuff like that, Majins and Namekians, and then Frieza races having their own fighting styles, you know, a couple different ones. But also the ability to use the mentor's fighting styles, and then that gives us a way to unlock them. You know, I don't want to just have that from the beginning. You know, you're going to have to go through all your mentor training, and that can be like one of the final things. You know, I tried to tie like getting aura colors and things like that to it. This could also be another thing tied to those mentors. Now, this is going to require some balancing out with the way those mentors, you know, combos and throws work as it pertains to the moves we can put on them. But I think this really could be a good idea. One thing I will note, though, is that I don't want every single preset to have a different fighting style. It should be literally, you put a fighting style and it goes across all presets. You know, that way, that would be a little too much, having every preset be a different fighting style, especially when it comes to PvP. You know, we don't want that. But definitely, we have that way to implement this into the game, and there are other games that use this. Like I said, the WWE games give you a variety of different like fighting styles and things that you can do, different punch combinations that you can put in. I believe like Soul Calibur, when you created a character in that one, and what like the newest one, you were able to pick from other people's fighting styles and give that to your character. And I think we definitely need it here. Like I said, we can come to our mentor, we do all our training, we get our moves, you know, we get, like I said, if we get different aura colors or styles, we get that from them. And the final thing should be we can learn their fighting style. I think that would be a big improvement to this game, and it would really round out the character customization. With everything else I've said so far, this would make a big difference. Now, one thing I was going to say is we need the ability to change our like combo strings and throws. But I've kind of gone back on that, and I think it needs to be, if you get their combos, you get their throw also. We shouldn't be able to customize their throw. It should just come with whatever combo set or fighting style we are using. But let me know down in the comments below what you guys think about this. And yeah, that's going to wrap this video up. And if you do like the content I'm putting out, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.